As far as online video is concerned, YouTube has been the only game in town for years. And content creators that feel like YouTube is not really listening to us, it's not truly meeting our needs, we have wanted for a long time for there to be an alternative to YouTube. And the one worthwhile competitor to YouTube closed up shop this week. Vid.me, which is this scrappy, up-and-coming online video platform that was basically, their whole idea was to listen to creators and give back to creators more than what YouTube was doing. Now, I did have a VidMe account and I tweeted about them. I tried to support them in any way that I could, but I found myself not wanting to upload videos there very often because it's just extra work for nobody. Really, I didn't have, I don't have a big enough following here to begin with, so I had an even smaller following on vid.me, which made the effort of putting videos there kind of pointless. In an open letter to the community, the leadership at vid.me explained why they think the service didn't work out the way they intended. And I mean, anybody that had their ear to the ground when it comes to this community could see this coming. It's very hard to compete against YouTube for what the fuck now? Dropbox? I'm doing a video here. For two reasons, the way I see it. One is that YouTube has been a loss leader for Google pretty much from the start. For those who don't know, a loss leader is basically something that a company is putting a lot of money into, not seeing a return. YouTube has never turned a profit for Google, but they're spending that money to make sure that they own a majority stake in that industry. So YouTube is pretty much the one game in town, like I mentioned before, and that's because Google is willing to run on the red to just be the king of the hill. So in order to beat them, you need to, at the very least, have more money than Google, and there's not many companies out there that could afford to do that indefinitely. I mean, Apple, Microsoft, and I think that's pretty much it. I would like to see Apple's approach to the YouTube game. That would be kind of interesting, and they are the #1 company that I think could go head to head when it comes to spending money on something that's not turning a profit, just to make sure that they establish a market share. So that's the main problem. You need to have more money than Google. Pretty much impossible, especially for a startup. They did have a seed investment, $10 million, I think. It sounds like a lot. It's actually not that much when it comes to the context of trying to beat Google at something they're very good at. The other thing, other than, you have to be willing to spend a lot of money that most of these companies don't have, is the fact that YouTube has never made money because, and this is something that kind of worries me, maybe this business model is just inherently non-viable. If Google, of all people, these guys know everything about you, they have context with basically all of the advertising world, if they couldn't figure out a way to make YouTube profitable, I kind of fear that it just might not ever be profitable. Maybe this platform will never be more than a passion project, a vanity project for Google, and that is kind of concerning because what happens when they don't have that much money, when they've grown weary of continuing this project? This has come at a considerable expense to Google, not just the financial side of keeping this running, but as Apocalypse showed us, it's straining Google's relationship with advertisers, some of the controversies that we've seen arise from the YouTube community. So there's the money aspect that they're putting into this, there's the credibility aspect also that takes its toll. So if Google, of all companies, if they can't, and this is their main business, mind you, if they can't figure out a way to monetize YouTube, if they can't figure out a way to make this profitable, to make this company actually bring money, who the fuck could? I don't think anybody else could. I mean, like I said, unless Apple joined the fray, and I mean, I know they have the money to spend, to burn, trying to establish the alternative, the Apple alternative to YouTube. But the problem remains that what if this is just not viable? What if you just can't turn a profit from this concept? That could be the problem. And this doesn't affect me as much as it affects some of my counterparts here on YouTube, because I do have a quote-unquote real job, and though the lifestyle I lead is, YouTube allows me to live the lifestyle that I live, because there is a significant income from my online activities, let's say. And YouTube isn't all I do. I have a podcast as well. I have other revenue sources, but YouTube is a big chunk of what I do on the internet. And I wouldn't go homeless if YouTube went under. I would have to seriously adapt the way I live my life. And what I mean by this is I'd be eating a lot more ramen if YouTube stopped being a thing. But this is what I think. How do you feel about this? I feel it's discouraging because YouTube isn't doing a lot for, especially for small creators like myself. And I mean, even big guys are feeling the pinch, right? So imagine us small guys. Whenever I see somebody, like I have some friends from Brazil, like big YouTubers, I'm talking like 10 million subscribers or more. And whenever I see them complaining that the algorithm is messing with them or YouTube subscription boxes isn't delivering the content, the videos to all of their subscribers, I look at their numbers and I'm like, if that upsets you, imagine how I feel. I get like 1/1000th of your numbers. So it sucks. And it seemed like the philosophy behind VidMe was to try to bridge this, to try to fill the gaps, to try to pick up the slack. And apparently that's not a profitable business model either. But that's how I feel about it. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about the demise of vid.me. Will we see another scrappy startup trying to take on YouTube, or could this create a chilling effect on anybody else thinking of challenging the big guys in this playing field? I'm very curious about how you feel about this. But that's all the time I have for today. I gotta do some other stuff. I'll catch you guys next time.